Today we're going to be riding in my future car and listening to an album from Post Malone, Beer Bongs and Bentleys.
I finally found what I'm missing, and now you got all my attention. Driving me wild, got me wishing that you were all mine. You're irresistible, so refreshing. You're irresistible, tell the essence. Can feel your energy all over me. Close my eyes and I breathe in. You're irresistible.
Welcome back to Carolina Fragrance Reviews. I'm your host Cam. Make sure that you're subscribed, activate that notifications bell, and follow us on Instagram at cam.byrd. Make sure that you show your support to CFR by supporting us by going and buying some of our merch. Our link is down below. And if you'd like to be featured on the channel and pushed on Instagram, make sure that you submit your picture just like our friend Jeremy did here, and we will put your IG handle on there. You'll be featured on the channel and on Instagram. No, I don't have a Bentley, nor do I have a beer bong. The closest I'm gonna get to that right now is listening to Post Malone or breaking out this fragrance right here that a few of you guys have been asking me to do a review on. I'm sorry it took me a while, but chill, it is. Although I have been sitting on this particular bottle for a little while, the first go round, this thing was much more expensive. It was not easy to find, and it went as high as like 150, 180 bucks. You can buy this gem now for like, I think it's like $28.34 is what I paid for this. Now, a little bit about Bentley fragrances. Of course, you know Bentley is like one of the premier luxury cars that there is. So sometimes you can get a luxury car brand and they just, make all that money on the front end of selling cars, and then they put out some pretty decent fragrances from time to time. And Bentley Intense for men is no exception. Now, I don't want you guys to think that this is like a mass appealing fragrance, because it's not. It's not an instant love. It is definitely an acquired taste. I actually read some things about this fragrance, when people were talking about it, and one thing that stuck out in my head about it was somebody said it smelled like a cheap cigar. And I was looking at the notes and I was like, well, there's no tobacco in there. So I didn't understand where that came from. I actually get like a really woody and boozy accord from this. On the opening, you're gonna get a blast of bergamot with some black pepper, mixed with some patchouli, incense, and woody notes. This one also has some leather in it and a bunch of other notes, but those are the primary notes that I pick up on it. As a matter of fact, my boy Mike from 5280 had this listed as his most complicated fragrance.
Popped right into my mind. So from the house of Bentley, we have Bentley for Men Intense. Now don't get me wrong, even though I'm putting this fragrance as my most complicated in my collection, I do still truly love this fragrance. So I've stated in a past video that for under 35 bucks, this is almost niche quality juice. I just don't get too many compliments when wearing this fragrance, and in all honesty, this isn't going to be a scent for everyone and can be a little off-putting at times. But I will say that Bentley for Men Intense is my most bold, strong, and beastly performing fragrance that I have in my collection.
Complicated as it may be in some cases, I still think that this is a really nice fragrance. If you were to smell it and say, say you didn't know what it was, I would say that there's a very good chance that somebody might get this confused with more of a niche fragrance. Now the first 15 to 20 minutes, the sillage on this thing is really going to be like really projecting. But it does die down fairly quick, as far as like what I've heard, like people just said that this thing is just like really beastly, really in your face. Yeah, that first 15, 20 minutes, the sillage is just like boom, in your face. but it pretty quickly dissipates. And it don't go like to faint skin scent or anything like that, because you're still gonna project for about 2 hours. Overall performance on this, I'm getting about 8.5 to 9 hours. So, you know, as beastly as this thing was boasted and bolstered up, I thought I would get longer performance, but at 30 bucks or $28.34 or whatever it was I paid for this, that is not a bad deal at all. When to wear this, I would definitely say in the fall, in the winter, especially the winter, like the colder winter, this is really gonna do a nice job. It's a fragrance for somebody who's a little more daring, or it could definitely be used in a dressed up situation. I would just be careful on the application. This one is gonna come off a little hard, especially in the beginning. Now, if you're spraying it on and you're not gonna get to your destination for another hour or so, you're not gonna be as offensive, but you fresh spray this and then go walk into the restaurant, you're gonna choke some people out. I would classify this as a masculine, classy, sophisticated fragrance that is definitely an acquired taste. It was not an instant love for me, but I've definitely grown to respect it. And of course, you know, if you're looking at a Bentley, I mean, just having a Bentley on your shelf, hey, that's pretty awesome. As a matter of fact, one of my friends who happens to be a doctor, Dr. Shakur, shout out to you, brother, has a couple of Bentleys, so I've got to ride in his vehicles before, and this actually looks just like the shifter in there to change the transmission. So there you go. You can actually tell people that you have a Bentley. Let's go over the notes. Bentley Intense for Men was released in 2013. The notes are bergamot, black pepper, bay leaf, clary sage, African geranium, cinnamon, rum, woody notes, leather, benzoin, incense, cedar, and patchouli. Even though patchouli is listed as like one of the base notes, you definitely get that spicy patchouli not long after you get that first blast of the bergamot and black pepper. Then you definitely get that boozy and woody accord mixed with that leather that I spoke of earlier, which makes this a very, very masculine scent. This is anything but unisex for sure. For those of you that are new to the fragrance game, just because you see Bentley or Ferrari or Mercedes on a fragrance bottle, that usually is a good thing, because a lot of times you will get a pretty good fragrance pretty darn cheap. I have a couple of Ferrari fragrances. They're like Noble Fig. That is a fantastic fragrance. I have owned a couple of Mercedes fragrances, and this is the second, but the first Bentley fragrance being I've had 2 bottles. I was actually at an outlet down at Myrtle Beach, and they had a lot of the automotive fragrances there, and they were all the luxury lines like Ferrari, Mercedes, Bentley, and they told me that their top 2 selling fragrances besides Club de Nuit Intense Man were this bad boy right here and one of the Mercedes. I can't remember which Mercedes fragrance it was, but they had a lot of stuff in there, and they said their top 3 selling fragrances were Armaf, Club de Nuit Intense Man, this one right here, and a Mercedes fragrance. Myrtle Beach gets a lot of traffic from a lot of people, and there's a lot of wealthy people that do business down there. And the guy that ran the shop told me that a lot of the wealthy guys at North Myrtle Beach go there to pick their fragrances over Creed Aventus, over Dior Sauvage, over all those fragrances that they had in there. So not a bad fragrance, but definitely an acquired taste. So that's gonna wrap it up for Bentley Intense for Men. Until next time, be disruptive, wear what you want, when you want, have fun. Subscribe to Carolina Fragrance Reviews, activate that notifications bell, smash that like button, leave us some comments down below. We'll see you next time on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.